human beings value status over their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much we value status. We're the only animal that kills ourselves, which is just a weird thing in itself. An animal would voluntarily end its own life. And very often the reason that people kill themselves is because it's a sudden drop in status, or they feel completely isolated and alone. So they're lacking in those essential kind of psychological resources to such an extent that they, end their own lives. And that's how much we value these things. And suicide bombers are another manifestation of that. Like if you're going to consider me a hero, and if Muhammad is going to consider me a hero, strap me up, brother. That's how much. That's how crazy we become about these social rewards.
God, that is such an insane belief. It's so insane. And when the most evil thing is when you hear about them talking kids into doing it.
Yeah.
A young child, you're getting what is the youngest suicide bomber they've ever used?
I don't know.
Just the idea that you can buy into it so much that you're willing to let your children go do that.
Yeah, but it's
wild.
It's evil if you think it's this kind of calculating, kind of mathematical algorithm of advantage. But they sincerely believe it.
Yes.
They really believe it's true.
Right.
I mean, I've been before I was an author, I was a journalist. I've been meeting kind of crazy people, including Nazis, as part of my journalistic career. That's one of the things that always strikes me, is that they really believe it. This crazy stuff.
They believe it.
So it's not evil in the sense that they're doing anything calculating by talking their children to being suicide bombers. They think they're doing something heroic.
Yes.
They think they're doing something amazing.
Yes.
As did the Nazis. As did the communists.
As did the KKK. People, they can fall into belief structures, and they don't necessarily have to make sense. But if they find enough supportive people around them that also believe that, then it becomes part of their tribe identity.
Yeah.
And it can be really stupid. It can be really stupid. We're fucking way more vulnerable than we like to believe. That's one of the things that I was saying, like when I watched those cult documentaries. Part of me is like, thank God I didn't run into those people. Thank God.
Yeah.
They would have got me.
And when they look at the psychology of people that are vulnerable to falling into cults, it's very often people that have struggled to fit into the status games of ordinary life.
Yeah.
So they've got, the family hasn't worked, the job hasn't worked, the hobbies haven't worked. So they've got no identity, they've got no tribe. So they're really vulnerable to these cults, because what cults offer is absolute certainty.
Yeah.
If you cook your scrambled eggs this way, if you only put 2 inches of water in your bath, you're going to, the UFOs will come down and they're going to take you to the level above. That's what they were offering to you, though. The level above human.
Wear the Nikes, though. Remember, you have to wear the purple Nikes?
But that's right.
Yeah,
there's this crazy memoir of one of the guys who was in this group. Who he didn't cut his own balls off. He left before the ball cutting, but he was jealous. He wanted to have his balls cut, and there was only one person that could have it done at the beginning, and they flipped a coin, and he was really annoyed that he lost the coin flip.
Oh my God!
But what was interesting about his memoir was he said that people talk about brainwashing in cults, and people talk about how we were forced to follow these rules, but we wanted to follow the rules. Like, not following the rules would be like being a NASA astronaut and just not caring about how the space shuttle worked, So they're not. They don't consider themselves brainwashed. They consider themselves, they're just in a status game, like any other status game. It's just a very, very strict one.
Right. Well, that's why, one of the fascinating things about some cults is that they use very bizarre language and that they all agree to it. They have specific terms that they say. Like, doesn't Scientologists, they'll call people, they have like an abbreviation for someone who's like a hostile person. What is it that they do? Because I remember someone was explaining to me, someone who left the church was explaining to me how, like, if someone would be hostile, you have like a very specific way you describe them, and that they all do it in the group, and it's like
suppressive persons.
Suppressive persons. Yes, you're a suppressive person.
Or potential trouble sources.
Dude, I ordered Dianetics in like 1994. I had just moved to LA, and I thought it was a self-help book. I was like, all right, fucking look at your brain's gonna explode. You gotta get your shit together. Look at all these people that are succeeding on Dianetics. Dianetics, I was 26 or whatever I was. So I ordered this book, and they've never stopped sending me things.
Oh, no.
I mean, they fucking never stopped sending me things.
Was there ever a point when you thought, hang on a minute, this is quite interesting? No. All right.
No. Once I realized it was Scientology, I was like, Dianetics is Scientology?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But then part of me was like, damn, a lot of these Scientologists are doing really well in Hollywood. Like, maybe that's a good cult to join.
Yeah.
Maybe if they just let me be me. Because it seems like that was part of it. There was a big allure of how many successful people were following that religion. I mean, some of the most successful actors. Tom Cruise is one of the most successful actors of all time, and he's literally the poster boy for that.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody was saying to me the other day that they thought that actors were particularly susceptible to Scientology because they've got this weird... They don't really have an identity, actors. They were always sort of slipping into different people's identities. I thought that was an interesting,
especially if you're really
theory.
Good.
Yeah.
You probably lose who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Who am I? Am I Rocky? Am I the Mission Impossible guy?
Yeah. Well, when they're walking around, everybody treats them that way. Like, I'm sure they treat Stallone like he's Rocky. And you
got to give respect to Tom Cruise though, because Tom Cruise is like 60 years old and he still does his own stunts, including jumping a motorcycle off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's how much he believes in this stuff.
But that's why these groups are kind of functional as well. It's like I kind of have a weird kind of sympathy. Like I grew up in a very strict Catholic household with very strict Catholic parents, and I hated it. I was very rebellious as a teenager, and I guess in my 20s and 30s I was very, very atheist and hated religion. But then I kind of did a lot of this research, and once you accept that what humans need to be healthy psychologically and physically is connection and status, you see that's actually what religion provides people. That's what religion provides my parents.
Right.
That they're connected into a community and they feel important.
Yeah.
They feel they're good Catholics because my dad conducts the choir and this, that, and the other. And so that's invaluable. That's what humans need to survive. And in our in the current world, in the huge populations in which we live, it's very hard to feel securely connected. I mean, as you said a moment ago, the tribes in which we evolved were very small, like 30 to 50 people. So it was quite easy to feel securely connected. It was quite easy in that environment to feel important, like valued by other people. I mean, probably it was not rare in the tribe to feel invaluable, like you're needed, because everybody was needed. There wasn't many people around to find the tubers and catch the rabbits or whatever. But in this day and age, in these huge groups in which we belong to, it's much harder to feel relative status because you're competing with millions of people, especially online. And I think that's a source of a huge amount of sort of misery in the modern world, a stress, sort of I call it an identity anxiety, identity stress. We feel really unsatisfied with the amount of connection and status that.